Something else to talk about with families that have young kids like yourself is that, make sure you name like short-term and long-term guardians. And that's usually a big sticking point that younger families have. They're like, well, husband might be like, well, my brother could raise the kids, but he's a jerk. Wife's
Yeah.
like, well, my sister would be great, but they can't afford it. And I'm like, that's perfect. And they look at me like I got like a second head. I'm like, no, like it doesn't have to be the same person. We can split it. Like, if your sister-in-law is going to be great at raising the kids, that's fine. Your brother's great with money, that's fine. He can manage the trust assets. He can do distributions to your sister-in-law that could raise the kids. So that's kind of long-term guardian talk I have with them, and I always like to have at least like three backups there. Something else to consider. Okay, your sister would be great at raising the kids. She's married. What if she's divorced or she's single? Would you still want her to be your first choice, or would you then want to go to a second choice? And again, kind of drill down on
I
these hard
see. Wow.
questions.
Oh, I never thought of that.
And then even
Yeah.
like short-term guardians with, um, say you're out on a date night with your wife, you get hit by a drunk driver. You're not dead, but you're going to the hospital. You're not coming home on time. You got like a 14-year-old babysitter that the sheriff shows up knocking on the door. He can't leave your kid with the 14-year-old. So you're in the hospital. You're not coming home. Your kid's actually going to CPS unless you have short-term guardians names. So like one of the things I do, I go through. I make sure it's neighbors, it's friends. You have a document. I think other firms. I encourage other firms to do this if they don't. That you leave with the babysitter. It says, hey, you know, here's who to call. Like, don't call the police yet. Or, if something happens, you get a phone call. Call these people. And actually, I give all my clients a little card to keep behind their driver's license that says, hey, I have kids at home waiting on me. If you're reading this, call these numbers in this order, please, and let them
Okay,
know.
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So again, it's just kind of that's what I see my job is kind of, as you said, customer service to see around a corner, to think through things in more detail than you would, just to make sure that again you have a peace of mind when it's all said and done. So it's called estate planning. I almost think it's more like life planning, kind of sets you up. A lot of people are like, oh, estate planning, that's something my grandmother should do.
Yeah, right,
But